Bad, Bad, Not Good, Talk Memory, album review. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning here tonight to chat about this latest from Bad, Bad, Not Good. These guys are a Toronto-based jazz quartet, and honestly, they have completely stolen my heart in the last few years. Their early recordings are the stuff of underground legend. I mean, their BBNG debut album, wow. This was a hazy, trippy blend of jazz cuppers running the gauntlet from Nas and Old Dirty Bastard to Joy Division and The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time soundtrack. But with their next album, BBNG 2, honestly, they blew my mind completely and recorded one of my favorite modern jazz albums. The original material here that they brought in was pretty solid, as well as some of the covers, which I thought were some of their best yet. I mean, the covers alone are some of my favorite renditions they've ever put out, between their cover of Earl Sweatshirt's Earl, Gucci Mane's Lemonade, and my all-time favorite rendition of theirs, their cover of James Blake's cover of Feist's Limit to Your Love. Now, around the time of their 3 album, they dropped the covers, started putting out completely original material. And you know what? It's commendable. It's a solid album, but at the same time, I felt like they were still searching for their own signature organic sound. But with their 4 album, I thought they reinvented themselves, almost bringing in a slew of really great guests. Between Charlotte Day Wilson, Sam Herring of Future Islands, Mick Jenkins, and Colin freaking Stetson, the guests here were really, really solid. I mean, we were far from where they started with their first BBNG album, but like, what a ride it's been. Now, I have been so excited to hear from these guys again. It's been a while since we've heard from them. I think it's been like 4 or 5 years. And leading up to this album, I thought we were in for something special, mostly because these singles have been pretty unbelievable. Let's chat about this thing. This album starts off with Single from the Noise, and my God, hell yes. This to me sounds like something that they've never put out, ever. It is dense, it is wildly experimental, it is transcendent. It also has this incredible experimental nature to it, and almost like a spiritual jazz kind of feel to it. Like, I definitely see them being, inspired by that new Pharoah Sanders release. And the pacing alone, good lord. But while it's completely far out and pretty alien at times, it's full of heart and really passionate and beautiful. And when this track takes off, it is urgent. It is exceptionally performed. And let me tell you, this 9-minute track plays off like a single. Like, it breezes by and just blows my mind every second. Yeah, this is an amazing, incredible start. Then we have Unfolding, Momentum 73 featuring Laraji. This is much more whimsical right from the word go. Now, I have to say this, I feel like since they put out, their own spin on organic material, they haven't disappointed, but this is our first real look, I feel like, into the world of Bad Bad Not Good. I feel like they have created their own little unique world with this album. Between the fluttering woodwinds and synths, there's a very breezy atmosphere. This is so freaking classy. Not only does it salute where jazz has been, it's also a brave look into where it's going. Then we have City of Mirrors featuring Arthur Versailles, and honestly, this is once again very classy. It is super elegant as well. We have come a long way, boys. And while maybe this isn't the most progressive or forward-thinking track here, or more experimental, I think it's done very well. Between the majestic strings, the groovy pianos, like, you have to give credit where it's due. These performances are immaculate. Then we have Beside April featuring Arthur Versailles once again, as well as Kareem Riggins, and this is much more in that progressive vein again, that forward-thinking vein. I love the way this track just deconstructs itself and reconstructs itself whenever it damn well pleases. But by the end of it, between these stellar synths, these intense drums, the absolutely beautiful strings, and the funky riff, I am so pleased with this. And that final freaking guitar solo that we get here, I'm just sitting here in awe of the sheer musicianship that we're getting on this album. Now, if I had to nitpick, the finale of this album is a little bit of a letdown. A little bit. Like, the Besides April reprise once again with Arthur Versailles, honestly, it's just not for me. Like, it's graceful and it's sweet, and there's nothing wrong with it per se, but I feel like this is kind of an incomplete thought. And Talk Meaning featuring Brandy Younger, Arthur Versailles once again, as well as Terrace Martin. Honestly, it's probably my least favorite track here. It's not bad, it's just kind of average. There's nothing truly bad about this album. This is just kind of an average finale. And there's a lot to love here. I love the whimsical nature of it. The playing is fine. But there are portions of this track that kind of sound like they would have ended up on their 3 album. I just feel like we've moved on from some of this. Personally, I feel like we could have done so much more as a finale. But come on, man. Even when this album isn't blowing my mind, it's still, you know, pretty exciting in its own respect. The rest of this album, it is so exciting. Like, all I can ask is, where are we going next, boys? Love Proceeding is a really interesting track. Like, a lot of this album has us sampling a lot of different flavors of modern and classic and futuristic jazz. But this track right here, this sounds like BadBadNotGood's own unique spin on it. It's classy, it's elegant, but it has a lot of real tricks to it as well, and it's so emotionally potent. Like, I don't know how this is the same dudes that were covering Waka Flocka Flame on YouTube years ago. This is a completely different animal. And there may not be a more fitting title that I've heard this year than Timid, Intimidating. It starts off a little timid, a little bit on the slower side, a little bit more reserved compared to the rest of this album. That's not to say it's not interesting, though. It is gloriously textured and super warm. Not only that, but I love the mystery to this track. But then it takes off entirely. By the end of this track, it is much more intimidating. The low rumblings of every single solo. There are a lot of them. These guys are onto something so huge. As much as I am loving this album, I think they could still blow our minds even more. And the final 2 minutes of this track, the little instrumental interlude we get, is absolutely gorgeous. Hey, this album freaking rips. I mean, yeah, it's such a great album. BadBadNotGood. I've never shied away from pushing the envelope as far as modern jazz, but now that they've really, you know, come into their own and started putting out organic material that doesn't seem forced, I think they're a complete new animal to be messed with. This is their most transcendent and wild release in years. I'm feeling a very strong 8 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.